tom@spinitron.com. Yeah, sure. You can reach me at tom@spinitron.com. You can also feel free to telephone. At Spinitron, we like to be accessible. In fact, we are. So you can get in touch for whatever support questions you have. We also have a web forum, not just a form, but it's got lots of forms. The on the forum, it's nice because you can ask questions there if they are the kind of question that might apply to somebody else, and then the answer goes up there and it's on the web for everybody in future. So that's a good way to get support if it's that kind of question. But feel free to send us an email or telephone if you prefer. Right. So the topic of, let's see, where can I find the share button? I'm going to send a request to share. Request has been sent to share. I'm going to be sharing my screen so we can, so share my screen to share whole screen. Yeah, whole screen. Or should I make this smaller and just do a window? You can tell me one way or another. See if I can get this over there. Got two screens here, so that's just for, oh God. All right, I'll get on with it. So I have chosen WTIP's database for our demos today. However, notice that this is not your regular Spinitron server. So if I make any changes in this database, don't worry. It's not actually going to change your real database. I made a copy today just for the purpose of demonstrating. And it's like, it's like we're doing a, no, it's like on a cookery show. Here's one I prepared earlier just to save time. All right, so we find this where. So if you're at your Spinitron home, you've logged in like this. Then you go to the report, search, and chart feature in here. And this will take you to this weird looking form. But we need to go through this in some, it's complex, right? So first of all, we have to do a search. And a search, basically, you understand search fairly well. It's we set up a kind of filtering. But there are, it turns out, different kinds of searches. What are we searching for? The first thing we can search for is spins. And that's the default setting of this form when you pull it up. So we're going to search for all the spins within 1 week. Well, what else could we search for? We could search just for all the artists that have been played this week. And that collapses all the different Sterling Johnsons and all the CJ Hythoff, or if I pronounce that right, all the Sterlings together.
That's a DJ name.
Those are DJ names. What am I talking about? Artist names, right? So all the Ed Sheerans are going to get collapsed together that way. So if I search for all the artists, then I get a little bit of information about the artist, but I'm searching for artists. So that means I don't see the spins and I don't see the releases. I could search for releases, in which case I don't see the
spins.
I don't see the spins. I don't see the timestamps of the spins. I don't see the DJs that played it because all these things are collapsed together. The importance of this distinction is it's hard to get your head around sometimes, because when it comes to doing a chart, what we do is we take, let's say, 1 week ending, I don't know, Friday, and we're interested in the releases. And then we run the chart on that. So what we're tallying up is all the different, or the number of different spins, or the number of different times a song on that release has been played during this interval of time. And I get that with this button called the chart. So that turns up for WTIP for the 1 week ending February 6th. So that's ending midnight. So it includes February 6th. And we can see that, Bass Part 2 has a release called Make Me Smile. I didn't know anything about this. And that's number one on this radio station for this week. Is who from WTIP is present? Sterling, you there? Does this look plausible to you? Sterling is not muted, but not speaking up. No, maybe we don't have audio from Sterling. I was
You
hoping
hear
to
us,
have this.
Sterling?
Yeah. Feeling like I can't see anybody. Oh, well.
Sterling is saying in the chat, yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, it picks out theme music and promo music. Yes. All right. So this is the first difficulty with using this method because, well, there's a lot to it. Let's go back to the basic search and chart. So we'll look at the spins here. Now, spins is perhaps the easiest to understand because we're not grouping spins together into a more condensed search. Every individual spin is listed here over that time period. Now we can filter here. We could, let's see how many eds we've got. Yeah, quite a few. How many Ed Sheerans have we got? 3 times Ed Sheeran got played, and this one album got 2 spins. Now, if you're running automation or recognition, then bear in mind what gets into the spins database gets in there, and it's going to be included in the search and chart tables. So if you've got promos that have got bed music and the bed music gets recognized, and if these get played 10 times in a week, then they're going to show up as spins. Now, what do we do about that with the when we're producing a chart? Well, there's a number of ways to tackle that problem, but none of them are particularly easy. It's just it's a complexity that we have to cope with one way or the other. If there's what are the main features that I wanted to show you here? So first of all, we've been over the search for the artists and releases. It was seldom you want to search for labels, but it is feasible to do that. The time range that you want to search over will say how many spins are included in the search. I'm going to skip over the advanced filters for right now and proceed with the filters across the top here. Now, these filters are the main ones that we're going to be dealing with: the artist, song, and release, and perhaps the label. But we can also search by the DJs that were involved. So this list here is derived from the search results itself. That's all that there are, and you can choose from there, and that will simplify your search. So, and we can go back one just to get back there, or I can choose what did Roger play during this period, and that didn't work. Maybe I can choose better. Search, maybe I can choose better. There we go. I just needed to hit the search button. Sorry, it's been a while since I did this. And CJ did quite a lot more, 69 spins in total over this period. So I need to hurry up. There's a lot in here. So these are our filters. If I remember right, if we, as I just demonstrated, if I type in Redmon, that demonstrates that I can do a prefix match on a name like that. So that worked. That's good. Fine. And that gets us somewhere. But I can use multiple filters here as well. So if I did do Redmon, have we got more than one release? No, we don't. So I can't do a more complicated thing here. What's something that gets played a lot? I have no idea. Let's do Oscar Peterson, right? So when you can combine filters like this, I don't think this is fairly familiar, I think, to people who've used web forms, this kind of stuff, and have used Excel. This kind of filtering isn't so unusual. The problem here is when you run into, well, how do we make this data useful for your station? And if we're using automation and in particular the automatic music recognition, which a lot of stations, of course, are, then we're going to get a pretty good data for the artists and song. Release can be good, but it depends how many times that song has been released. Some songs have been released hundreds of times on hundreds of different albums, and automatic music recognition has no idea which one you played. So unless your DJs are actually fixing that as it goes along, then the release title here can be a bit of a crapshoot. Genres, well, genre choices are up to a station. So whether or not that we get a hit on genres is again something that can't be guaranteed. Label name is fairly good. Unfortunately, the release year that we get from the from ACR Cloud is again not very good, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it doesn't know what release you're playing, like I just explained. Secondly, this is often the most recent digital release. So you can go in there and find an album that you know was released in 1974, and it says the release year was 2022 or something like that, because that's when this particular package or this particular master dropped into the digital music supply. So those information are often not very useful when it comes to trying to determine, for example, what's a new release and what have you. And it gets worse, I'm sorry to say. There are advanced filters here. And to explain these, it may be best to go to the playlist forms setting here. This is for customizing a station's playlist entry form. Now, when you set up as a new Spinitron client, a station that's not used Spinitron as fast, we set it up for you. All these fields are enabled, and you can go and disable the ones that you don't need. But a lot of stations are going to leave them enabled, even though they're not really using them. Now, in the modern world, when not everybody, but lots of stations are using recognition, there's not much we can do with these. We can certainly use the label field. We need the artist song and release field. Composer, it's kind of up to you. The various artists field doesn't work all that well. Local doesn't work at all if you're using these fields are all legacy back from the days when in Spinitron. The Spinitron's been around since 2002. And then we had to put everything in manually. And then we had autocomplete. So we had search engine to help you type, so you didn't have to type everything. But it was still up to DJs to get the local and the new and all these fields, these more specific fields, to get them right. But there's no way that if you set up a field here, for example, the stacks new, it's disabled at WTIP. But let's say this was here, and this is the one that says this is in your stacks or the playlist or heavy rotation or whatever it is at your station that says this is the stuff that is counted in the charts. Then in the old days, the DJs would be required to check that checkbox so that it would be included in the chart, and otherwise it wouldn't. That doesn't work now with recognition unless you've got some discipline at your station that makes sure that all DJs are manually checking that for the recognized spins as well. So honestly, if we go back to search and chart, these advanced filters, you can try them, but you'll probably find that they're not going to help you very much in skinnying this search down. So how do you produce a chart? Well, if we click that chart button like we did before, And as Stirling explained, yeah, what you're going to get here is a fair amount of noise from your bed music, promos, things like that, underwriting, whatever's in there. Everybody's favorite piece of music in the chart is the um, Democracy Now! Theme music, right?
Yeah, at KLX, they are using the new field for the chart, and it's a great help in filtering out noise.
Okay, Chris, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So how are you? So Chris Michael at KALX, are you using recognition at your station?
We are, yes.
Yeah, okay. So you're just you're cracking the whip on the DJs and saying, look, in order for charts to work, you have to monitor what the recognition does and go and check that checkbox.
Yes, exactly.
Great. It's not that much hard work. And in any case, DJ should be doing that for accuracy because the recognition isn't 100% anyway.
Can I intercept, just say something that we always recommend DJs to let the audio recognition pick up anything they want to play, but always monitor it. And it's easy to make changes while it's picking up the songs, and edit it, modify it, or put the flags up if it's a new release or if it was request or anything you want to track. It's a very good habit, and DJs, in my opinion, should do it. They keep track of what they are doing.
Fantastic. Did you see what happened there? We went from, if we disable that filter, we went from 1,000, this is 1,815 spins. New, yes, search. And now we've only got 463.
Yeah.
So that's great. Now thank you, because that's a really great example to show everybody how this can work. Now we've got while you're there, Chris, if we were doing a chart, we often find that it's necessary to edit things a bit to get things looking good. You might want to get rid of some spins or just ignore them. Or sometimes we need to, there's two different ways that something has been spelt,
Right.
entered, and we need to combine them. So, for example, here we've got bound by endogamy. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. Let's combine those, right? You would probably want that to be in one thing together.
The artist.
The artist. So if I went to artists and search for the artists, search, and type in bound, I'm only coming up with the one there. Interesting. I'm wondering why that came up. Well, let's go to releases.
So I think you were doing a spins search. So it was two different songs, but it is the same release, correctly.
Absolutely, of course. So it was coming up by one. It wasn't just typos. I was a bit surprised that was working that way. So if we do a releases and we get rid of the bound, I'm going to start over here. It's sometimes a bit confusing. So I go to report, search and chart. I go to, I want a releases chart. Sorry, a releases search. I'm going to end on Friday. Search. And somebody's playing the boredoms. I approve. And we'll do the chart. Now, what can we see in here that needs some work? Right. Tragic Magic looks like it might need some work tidying that up. And there is, in fact, a way to do that if you want to. I'll demonstrate this, but it's a tricky thing, and we don't advertise this. So you need to write down on a piece of paper or a cardboard to make a note here. So, for example, we've got multiple entries for the release name here of the Invader. So let's change Invader Records. Now I can edit that here if I hold down the Alt key. I think that's the Opt key on a Macintosh keyboard. Just change that to Invader, all right? Now you might want to change the other one to Invader Records. But the thing that's really interesting about this is that this is just showing you the the results of a query off your spins database. So what did I actually just edit? Well, what I just edited was
The playlist.
the spins in the playlists. So your DJ's playlists have now changed, right? Maybe there was 5 playlists that had Invader records there. Those are now showing Invader. Let me do this again, just to demonstrate once
With
more.
the label, you can do the label.
Let's do the label here. The Leaf Label Limited. Right, I'll change this one to the Leaf Label Ltd. Did it have a full stop? We'll see. It didn't. Right?
We can change the release date too.
I can check. Yes, let's do that. Maybe it's I don't know which is correct, but we would want to go and find out which one is correct and change the other one. And we're actually editing spins in real playlists. So DJ's playlists are getting modified right now. So the first thing to understand is you can't do this unless you've got admin permissions. Maybe editor permissions will get you there, but that doesn't get used much anyway. And we could play around like this and have a good deal of fun. There's another trick that we can play here if we can find an example to play with.
Record, fearless.
Is that you can check the checkbox and then use control click. That doesn't work for this line, but if you want to does Invader remove Invader records as a choice in future spins? Maybe. If there are no more spins whatsoever for Invader records, then it would definitely disappear as an option. But I don't. Yeah, it depends. If you change all the spins for that release to Invader instead of Invader records, then yes. But we've only changed them for 1 week ending this. Sorry, this Aaron from WRT asked the question, does changing Invader records to just Invader remove Invader records as a choice in future spins? So that I assume the choice there means from the drop-down list when we're doing the autocomplete. Then maybe, probably not. If there are no more, if you choose the artist and you choose the album and it's suggesting Invader records, then if all instances, all spins, that is, from that artist and release have been changed to Invader, then Spinitron will stop suggesting Invader records for sure. Yeah. Otherwise, it just reduces the probability.
Yeah.
Is that across all radio stations or just
No.
No, you can't edit the data in another station. No.
Okay, no, but I mean in terms of the autocomplete when those suggestions comes up.
No. Again, we tried that once in the past to get new stations up and running but it was terrible. Every station's typos ended up being suggestions at every station. Yeah. They hated it, so we got rid of that real quick.
It's also
Alt,
I need to show Alt. I need to show Alt working, or it might be Shift, but I don't think this is how it works anyway.
Yeah, should be.
No, it shouldn't. It's for copying from one row to a next.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if maybe we can do a search, reset. We'll do a search for labels and invade. Now, watch this. If I choose the check marks here, don't worry, I'm editing on a test database. Your playlists are not being changed here. But if I then control click on Invader here. See, I've got Invader records row collect and control click on, I'll do that again. So we'll do it slowly. I've got the row Invader records UK checked, and then I control click on the name Invader here.
Because you want to change it to that.
That's the one I'm choosing, and I want to copy that to all the rows that are checked. So copy the label name Invader to this one item. Yes, please. And now that's been combined. So that and now, because of the way that the magic of a group by query in an SQL database, that I've now only got one row when I had two. So what you might find if you're doing a search and chart for releases, sometimes you'll find, oh, I've got the same thing here twice, or three times or whatever, sometimes even more. American intelligence, I'm trying to find an example where I could do this, and it's just not showing up. But it happens a lot that this could be quite useful, and you'll end up choosing like 3 rows here, and you say, I want it to be that one. And then it'll say, are you sure you want to copy the release name to these 3 items, right? And we can say no, you just cancel out. So that's another trick. I feel like I need to move on quickly now. Onto chart. In the charts, we've got the additional, let's go to page 1. We've got the additional grouping in that if we're doing a release chart, all the spins, all the DJs, etc., are going to get grouped together. So if we want these to be tidied up, I wish it was working that way. Like I thought it did, but it doesn't. All right. Then we can even edit the spins that are combined, all 9 spins. If I do this right here, magic in 3s, if that is incorrect and they're all in 4s, and I change that, I've just gone and changed 9 spins in 9 playlists, well, probably 9 playlists, in one go. So that's a powerful magic. This alt click to edit, and the checkbox to copy. So I can copy Dijon, for example, to that, or to these 3 rows. I'll demonstrate it. It's what I'm demonstrating is stupid. You would find you can find better examples than this. But even I can copy to 21 spins are going to get modified that way. Can be when you're working on charts. It can be very, very useful. So let's now just do the export an email form. Probably you guys have seen this before, but let's just do a quick run through here. We got a number of different formats that can be produced. If we want to get this into Excel or Google Sheets or whatever, TSV works rather well. And copy paste. So I can display that, and then I can just copy that to the clipboard, and I can put that into a Google spreadsheet, and it'll just work. It's nice and easy. We can choose which columns to include or not, and depending, let's say I want to send plain text by email, then I have to provide email address or more, and I can add a little message here. So I've got a number of different ways to deliver it, and all these different formats. Whichever you set up here is saved in your personal preferences in Spinitron, so that it's set up like that the next time. So if you've never used it before, it's a bit clunky, but the next time it should be a lot easier. I'm going to ask for questions now.
Yeah. Any questions on producing charts? I'll also
Just
say,
using search.
And search,
Oh,
yeah.
by the way, using the search function, as we did here, you can also produce usually by releases, by the certain number of days that BMI or ASCAP or CSAC or whichever pros are asking for reports. That's all you need to do. And with the export email, you can include the artist name,
whichever fields the pro is requesting.
Yeah, you can just include that and send the email right from Spinitron if you like.
Yeah. We prefer, actually, if you're sending to pros, that you don't send it from Spinitron, because then you just send it to yourself or download it yourself, and then send it from your email address. That way, if it bounces, or they want reply to you, it'll go to you.
Yeah.
BMI is
any college station here.
College stations are no longer reporting to BMI, and in fact, BMI wasn't looking for submissions from community radio.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for college
For
stations.
college stations, anyway, they're no longer asking you, because we do about 125 stations behind the scenes. We've got a data hookup for BMI behind the scenes, so you don't have to do it yourself.
Any other questions? Now is the time, because then we are moving on to another topic, slightly different topic.
Yeah, sure.
All right. As time moves on.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's get to it. If nobody, feel free to pipe up and we can go back to it.
Okay. So is Pirate here yet?
Are we going to do the sound exchange?
Oh, okay. So since the quite a few stations asked about as part of the reporting the sound exchange report, KLX is probably not. Go back to.
Go to CRP?
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't mind. So I guess. Station settings, sound exchange. Yes, so WTIP is reporting to NPR using their composer under the CPB terms. Now, the CPB terms, as you know, CPB is kind of kaput now. And but the terms were already in works when they went under.
Well, they were set in law for another couple of years.
Yeah, so the fees and the exact same thing that we had for the last few years has been decided to go on until the end of 2027. And
so we
don't know yet exactly what's going to happen after that, but for the next 2 years, it's still the same deal, except NPR is paying the fee that CPB kind of endorsed on NPR for the remaining of the.
So basically, as far as reporting is concerned, we continue doing the same thing for now.
Yeah. So what happens is if you want to go to report sound exchange, if you are doing this deal, all you need to do is usually would report for 2 weeks ending, let's say, February 2nd. Ignore this. This is
you wouldn't see that.
You wouldn't see that.
It's a super user feature.
Yeah, and you can preview the report. And if you are doing this, you can deliver directly to NPR's server via FTP. That's it. Click submit
FTP.
and you are done. So that's all basically for the sound exchange reporting as far as reporting to NPR. Now we can go.
I wanted to add one more thing. If you want to actually check the data yourself before sending to FTP, you're free to do that. You can download a file, or we can just look at it like this. And the whole thing is in here. So if you want, you can check the whole data there. If you want, you can edit that and then give it to NPR. But if you prefer, you can just use the FTP option, and that will then transmit it to NPR. Right. So, well, all right. That I will go in and delete manually now. I thought it was going to ask for a confirmation. I thought that would, anyway. All right. So that's what happens, and you'll get the confirmation. And if you want, you should screen copy that, and it's your receipt.
Yeah.
So if that's for the playlist. Andrew Crawford asked, that's for the playlist. I don't understand the question. Feel free to get on the microphone.
Yes, it's for the playlist reporting. You still need to submit the web connection logs, the stream logs to NPR and upload it into Composer, and you can get it from your stream provider.
Yeah.
Yes. This is just for the playlist.
If you're using David Clan, you go to David Clan. If you're using Stream Guys, you go to Stream Guys, etc. Because we don't have that data.
Right. So, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So this is the only you can send it directly to NPR from Spinitron using the FTIP, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the logs themselves, you still have to go through the XS, the Excel spreadsheet and format it properly.
It doesn't necessarily involve Excel. That's going to depend on your service provider.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
some service providers, such as Stream Guys I know and David Clan I know, they'll produce the report in the correct format, and you shouldn't have to touch it.
Yeah, just upload it. Just make sure that the web logs and the playlist logs are covering the same time period that you are reporting.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, and happy to give you one-on-one session on how to sign up for this kind of reporting for Sound Exchange. What's the best deal for you? How to navigate through it? We also have a Sound Exchange webcasting guide on our forum with a summary and some links. If you find any broken links since those CPB changes, please let me know. I will update it. I haven't found it, but it's possible that it's there. I just updated the table there, but happy to help you anytime one-on-one.
Yes, and the whole topic of Sound Exchange reporting is a big topic, so we mustn't get into that rat hole. It's usually the one that we can fill any number of webinars with.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is really more about just how you use the search and report feature to do that.
So we have a test station here, and we filled out, we report directly to Sound Exchange. And if you click on that link, a radio button, it's a little confusing. We use the webcast service, the name of your webcast service. It's not your stream provider's name. It's your station's name. That's how webcast service is a reference from Sound Exchange's legal jargon.
Think of it as being like a broadcast service.
Yeah, webcast
like that. So
yeah.
that's how does Sound Exchange recognize your service?
Yeah. And so this is your station's name, and this is the channel. Yeah. And service category is most of our stations use B, so that's a fairly
safe bet.
Yeah,
you can go and look that up if you want. As I say, Ava, if we get into this, it's going to take the rest.
No, I just wanted to show that this is how you fill this out, save changes. And when you go to the report Sound Exchange, all you need to do is choose your reporting period ending and enter the aggregate tuning hours, which you can get from your stream provider. It's a rough you can use a rough estimate. And
the service provider needs to be able to provide that if they're up to scratch. And it'll be a few thousand probably for a lot of stations. Can be more, can be less. But that's the ATH for that report period.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
So if you are reporting for 2 weeks per quarter, that's the ATH you should get from your stream provider. If you are monitoring your average listenership all the time, you can have a good idea of what it might be for those 2 weeks. You can probably just guesstimate or make an educated guess. Again, if anybody has any questions of how to fill out forms or how to register with any of these entities, please give me a call or email me.
How did you get to that page you were just at where it had all the fields?
That is in the admin.
Yep.
Okay.
We go to station settings.
Station settings.
And Sound Exchange.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
If you are reporting directly to Sound Exchange, if that checkbox is checked, then you get these fields. We don't need these fields unless this particular row is checked.
Yeah. And it follows if you just click on here, it disappears. So it kind of.
Okay, that's why, because we're now using the new NPR component.
Yeah. You can. I mean, a lot of college stations don't report at all, so you can use the don't report. That's perfectly fine, and then you don't see it. So it only opens if you are reporting. Okay. Anyway, I think Dominic is here from Pirate.
Hello, yes. How's
Hi
it going?
There. Hi there.
Yes.
And you can.
I'm going to stop sharing now.
Yeah.
There we go. And we'll be able to see what you're up to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We Dom, to give you just a lead in here, as we were showing everybody here how you as a station can be using your spends, ways that you are reporting out to various PROs, ways you're reporting to organizations like NAC. There are ways that your spins are being used, even if you're not submitting. We have Dom here, who works with Pirate, who I think many of you know, one of the many indie promo companies out there. As a former promoter myself, your data is valuable and interesting and necessary for a campaign for any artist. And accurately reporting it, making sure those spends look good, is what we do to make sure that your audience is not just the people listening, but people who are checking out Spinitron, including those artists, including those labels and promoters like Dom. So we wanted just to take a few quick minutes for Dom to show you what it looks like to be a promoter and why your spends are connecting with promoters like himself and the many others out there.
How's it going, everyone? I
Hello.
see some familiar names and faces on here. It's good to see you all. So to piggyback on what David said, obviously, spins play a pretty integral role in what we do and how we relay data back to our stations. I mean, back to our clients about you guys, the stations. So we kind of get access to a search function, which allows us access to pretty much anybody that reports to Spinitron. Now, obviously, like, it's very helpful when we have specific spin data. Obviously, like David was saying, there are panels like NAC and stuff that we get chart numbers from, but a lot of times our clients want to know what songs are being spun. And since, college and community and non-commercial radio are still album formats, for the most part, it's not always an easy guess for an artist to know what songs are being spun unless we provide them with that information. And that's something we acquire through Spinitron. So we do what I do. I say we, it is mostly me tracking spins here at Pirate. What we do is we do it once a week and we bring up a week's worth of data for pretty much every client we are working. And we take this information and we put it into our database. So for example, one of our bigger records right now is this new Joyce Manor record. I used to go to this bar that just released on Epitaph Records. So I'll come in here and I'll bring up like a full week worth of data when I do this, because I do it at the same time every week. And now I'm kind of seeing basically the spins from the past 7 days through any and all stations that report to Spinitron. So gave me 192 results for the past 7 days. What I like is here on Spinitron, I can click here and it then breaks it down by station, makes it really easy for me, so that I can then go to this station in my database and get a quick glance of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spins. I can put that in my database and I can see what songs specifically the station spinning. Obviously, a station like this seems to be going pretty far across the record and playing, nearly 6 or 7 distinct tracks off the album. Other stations, as you might guess, might be a little more structured in their rotation, but it seems like this one too, quite a different handful of different songs from the record. This one too, which is also my alma mater. And it's nice for me to have access to this data. Obviously, let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find. So like a station like WRUV, for example, seems to stick to more of, similar songs, so to speak. But basically what this tells me is like, as we build our relationships with you guys, we know kind of how you're formatted and how each station operates. But this resource of Spinitron gives us a deeper understanding of what's going on. Especially, it's helpful too to know when. Some of the things that people will ask is like, oh, well, the station's playing us a ton, but is it all, are we shoved into kind of like an overnight thing? Are we getting play across the board? So like, as we can see here, we're seeing play various days, various times of the day. Sometimes we'll be able to tell stations like, yeah, you're getting played at this station, but you're pretty much exclusively being played overnight, or you're generally getting airplay during major drive times, 6 to 9 in the morning, 3 to 6 at night. We actually have info from Spinitron to a lot of this precise data that even a station might not realize we relay to our clients. It's really important. And so now, while Joyce Manor is one end of the spectrum where they're very clearly seeing a lot of airplay, it also comes in handy when we have really small artists. So, for example, there's this band called Fairmont. They are on a label called Mint 400 that Pirate has been working with for 20 years now. And Fairmont is the record label like founders band. So a band that we've consistently been working year over year. And so this information becomes even more crucial for a band like this because we know for a fact that Neil of Mint 400 Records is actually going in there and reading every single bit of data in their report. He wants to see what songs are being spun on his current record, what songs are still being spun on stations even years later. I mean, some of these records are old. They're not the new record we're promoting. So it's really cool to see that these stations that we still work with frequently are not only maybe dabbling in the new record, but they are also playing stuff from the older records or from previous compilations from the label. So it's not even the fact that it's just like a station that's behind. It's more showing that a station is mixing new songs, old songs to kind of help showcase what the band is doing and what the band has been doing. And so for us, it's cool to see, like Everything is Fleeting is the new record. It's cool to see this station's playing a couple songs from it. I Wish I Was Stupid was a record from like 1 or 2 years ago. So it's nice to see some of these stations are still kind of diving into deeper pasts from this band. And we take all of this info, pack it into our database, which then in short gets exported into Excel spreadsheets for the bands and clients to look at, whether it's the band directly, the record label, the management. As I'm sure you guys know, there's a lot of different aspects to a band's team. Sometimes it's all of them that are seeing this and reading this. And so a band like Fairmont, I know for a fact he is literally reading every single note. Joyce Manor, I can't say the same. I'm sure, a band like that probably just sees it hit their inbox and doesn't care as much. I am trying to think of like another smaller band does also happen to be on the same record label that we just launched this past week. It's nice to see like right out of the gates too. I can see that this station WUNH is a very heavy supporter almost immediately on this album. So that's kind of neat to me too, because what I utilize this is I can be like, hey, WUNH, you guys spun Holy Smokes like a dozen times in a week. They are a virtually no-name band, first record, like small record label. So when the band's like, how do we make this connection? Now I can say, well, WUNH spun you 12 times, pretty much across the spectrum, day and time-wise here. Why don't we send them a vinyl record? Say thank you. So again, I'm utilizing this spin data to say, hey, this station seems to really like you. Maybe we can further your relationship with the station by sending them a vinyl record. So we see that. So like if you guys there on the station side are inputting a lot of spins for a record because you're supporting the heck out of it, we are taking note of that. Not only at like the data level, but at like the relationship level. So hopefully that kind of like gives you a deep dive. I mean, I don't know if there were any specific things that David and the Spinitron team wanted me to further touch on, or if you guys had any particular questions about other things we might use this for.
No,
but in short,
I just wanted you to say something that is a real person that, I hear it from the horse's mouth,
Yeah.
that you are actually using it and how useful you find it. And it's more interesting than us saying that.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we're just doing
More credibility.
Otherwise, we're just doing a sales pitch, effectively.
Yeah.
I have to say, so I've been with Pirate now since 2018, and I think I have used Spinitron every single Monday for those, what is that, 8 years, 10 years almost.
Have you ever been a DJ?
Yeah, so I was a DJ at this station, actually.
Did you use Spinitron at that station as a DJ?
We hadn't yet. We actually, you and
Okay.
I met right
Yes,
after I graduated, like right as I got into my final semester, and after I
Right.
graduated,
Mondo.
they then yes, they then
Yes, we were at
at that
Mondo.
point I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I met Ava in person, and
Yeah,
then they then
yeah.
signed up after right
Yeah.
after I graduated.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I do remember as soon as I saw your name coming up in picture, it's like, okay,
right,
we met at Mondo.
yeah, Ava and
Yeah,
I were on a panel
yeah,
together,
yeah.
and at the time we had our own internal system at the station, but it was getting dated. And so now I'm actually really glad that they swapped, because
Yeah.
as a promoter, I now actually see how much helpful this information is. And when I think about it as when I was in the music director's place, these spins wouldn't be here in Spinitron. And also, if I'm being honest, the MD is probably too busy to tell me exactly what songs when are being spun. They're going to just say, oh, it's seeing some good spins.
Yeah.
This here gives me such specific data that it's so much more important to me that I wish I had joined Spinitron even earlier when I was in that position, because I now see how helpful that information is.
Yeah. Yeah, it was something that we noticed years ago. It's sort of like an interesting sort of information philosophy thing. Was that, initially Spinitron was really about web publishing. It's like you're communicating with the audience of the radio station so that they don't have to telephone you to ask what's that song you're playing on the radio. You can look at it on the web. So, it's just convenience, extra context. But then as the number of stations increased, we realized that the information was becoming interesting in a new way. And as the number of stations increases, each spin in Spinitron, each element of data in Spinitron actually gains in its informative value.
Yeah.
So if there's only a couple of stations in there, it doesn't really represent that much. When there's a few hundred, it
Yeah.
aggregates together, and each piece of information becomes more useful.
Yeah.
Which I guess is what you were seeing.
Yeah. It's not just the number of stations, but we have our own little weekly chart, thanks to Maddie, who puts it together. And we harvest about more than 500,000 spins every week.
Yeah.
Those are new spins. It's a weekly spins. It's
a several-hour job every week to compile that chart, but you can find it on the Spinitron forum every week.
Yeah.
Maddie uploads that, and she's pruning the data so that it's only including releases from the last 6 months. So that's with the exception that if somebody important has just died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Maddie. And very briefly, while we still have time, I'm going to share. So I don't know if I can take over the share.
Oh, I'll end mine.
Right. So there's the share. I just wanted to show you that there's a standard search, which is what was just presented. And this is so that looks like this. And it's just got a keyword search feature in there. And it's nice and simple. You can put a week in there or whatever. But we've also got the advanced search in here, which is it's got it's a more expensive product. Standard search is $40 a month or something, and advanced is 120. And it's a lot of data.
Yeah.
And honestly, I am going to commit suicide when that gets too big for the service to handle.
Please don't.
But you've got this capacity to filter, so we can drill down into the data here in some pretty advanced ways. You can filter on a certain set of stations. Let's say you're a promoter that only deals with folk music. Maybe there's like a couple of dozen stations that you're interested in. The rest of them doesn't really make any difference. And again, we've got the chart and export features that we just saw there. So I just wanted to show that. So I'm glad to know that Pirate doesn't feel the need to spend the big bucks, and that the standard search is good enough.
I'll also say just on this point, what Tom was saying of genre and specific stations. We know if you're a GM or you're a PD here or even an MD, you probably are dealing with maybe community members who have your specialty shows, like weekend shows, for example. I certainly have dealt with those over the years. And they might not be using Spinitron as much, or maybe they're a little slow to use it. I will say we have plenty of promoters who are those specific kind of promoters. A lot of Americana, a lot of folk shows, some jazz promoters as well, who are looking at your specific show because they have that ability drilled in, either with search or even just going to your direct station page. So we really encourage you. As you saw, it's important for artists. It's important. It means every single spin for artists, big and small. That's why we always encourage. We know it's tough sometimes to get people to use Spinitron sometimes if they're new or they're stuck in their ways. But know that every show means something to some artists. So we hope you saw it today. Well, we're technically at time here. Are there any questions or any follow-ups? Like Tom and Ava said, we all have a very simple email address, just our first name at spinitron.com. Our literal phone numbers are on the website as well if you ever need anything. Tom and Ava are usually your people, but if you have a question about search, I can help you out as well. But anything else before we end today?
Yeah, I did have a quick question. So one at Calyx, so we do use the new feature, in which, as we saw, cuts the number of spins from about 1,500 down to 500. But I'm still spending a couple hours every week going through and resolving issues where automation pulled in the single title versus the album title, so I can correct that. So when it does the grouping, that I get proper counts. Is there any way to avoid that, or is everybody spending 1 to 2 hours each week cleaning up?
Just don't do charts. I mean, that's the only way. No, I mean we have the same issue with our Spinitron chart as well, and it takes hours. And even though Maddie's using the most sophisticated technologies to make that as fast as possible, and is very skilled. She's just a fast worker anyway. I don't know. I wash my hands of the whole affair at this point. It's just awful. I'm so glad I don't have to do it myself. It's it's real rough. The only things that I can suggest is that if you've got a search window open in one browser window and a second browser window with the chart in it yourself, then use the chart as the guide and you think, oh, damn it, these two things should be the same. Then you can go to the search window and use the filters, bring those up, and then use the checkboxes to combine them. Right. Okay. So that's the workflow that I wish I had been able to demonstrate today, but I really kind of need to prepare a data set where I can properly demonstrate that. But so you can see it by looking down, maybe you're producing a top 50 or something. So you can see by looking down to top 100 or 200 or something, that should have been counted with this item here. Go back to search, actually use the filters with a substring, some suitably chosen substring, that will pull those up. Then you can check the checkboxes of the ones you want to edit and use the control click to copy from the row that's correct.
I have a better idea. Why don't you set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting?
You know what we could do? We could set up a meeting where you do your chart and we supervise you and watch what you do it, and we can invite other people and maybe they can learn from that too.
Okay, yeah.
Do you like that? No, all right.
Yeah.
We can do it privately if you prefer.
It would be fun because I think that would be a very informative thing. That okay, that if you don't mind being on the spotlight.
Yeah. See, the trouble is that we don't have a radio station, and neither of us are actually doing a radio station chart every week, so we don't have the same skills that you do. So we kind of need to workshop this together.
Yeah. If you don't mind, we could definitely. I would be game to do that, and or just us and you and record it, or something that other stations could learn from. That would be Viridian, KMU1. Yep, she already is in it.
Raise the hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
Yeah.
No, you're there on my screen.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be because I think that would be a hands-on actual practice run would be very useful for us too as a feedback. Maybe we could tweak the software a little bit. That would help you.
Okay, yeah.
Just give him more
Yeah.
work.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we can try and figure that out with Chris, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll tell you what, we'll arrange a time to do that sometime in the future, and then just invite people, and if they can't make it, then we can see if we can get a recording to them.
Yeah.
Good.
I
Okay.
could maybe once we set up a date for it, when you actually do your chart, we could send I could send the same set of people who are in this gathering
That's a good
now.
idea. Yeah, Aaron just put up his hand too.
Yeah, then we could share it, either join the meeting or at least the recording we could share. How about that?
Fantastic.
Everybody like that idea? That would be great. That would be, I think, very useful for everyone involved, like including us, because we would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I won't go into it with a. It's just something I won't be able to do, is to prepare a good representative data set for this purpose myself and work it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in radio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any ghost spins during my show? I don't know what a ghost spin is. I get ghost spins.
I'm not entirely sure what ghost spins are, but
So what I mean by that is that I'll be playing, song and then another song, and I'll look over to Spinitron and it'll say that I played Eclipsed by some DJ, and I never played that song, so I delete it.
Yeah.
But this happens almost every show.
How often?
Where I get
you are using audio recognition, right?
Yes.
So is it possible that it's just a misrecognized song?
No. I mean, and it's usually the same artist. It's the same 2 or 3 artists that sneak into my playlist, and I'm like,
sure it's not a promo or a cart or a bed music or anything like that, because those all get recognized.
Yeah.
Yep.
Curious.
Have you not heard of this before?
No. If we need to debug this with ACR Cloud, which is the technology provider we use for recognition, what we'd need is a recording of an audio recording of your show.
Okay.
That we can give to them, and then you can you would need to then also provide the timestamp within that recording of the thing that's being recognized.
So before you delete from the playlist,
you could keep the ghost recordings in your playlist, and that will allow you then to identify the timestamp.
Yeah. If you can send us a recording where you catch one of these ghosts.
Otherwise, they won't have anything to go on to say why it happened.
Yeah.
And that would be to eva@spinitron.com.
Yes.
Is it .com or .org or
.com?
Spinitron.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. And Chris, we can talk about.
We'll set it up.
We'll set it up, and whenever it's convenient for you and for everyone, maybe. And I think that would be a tremendously useful thing.
That's good. Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, everybody. We will share this recording later, and we really appreciate you all coming. Yeah.
Mahalo. Thank you. Aloha.
Thank you.
Thanks for everyone for coming.